What's going on, guys? Welcome back to video number 2. So I've actually cut the memory foam mattress and we've got it installed. This is what she looks like. Yeah, it's a nice fit. We've got just enough room left off from what I cut off to kind of fill this gap whenever I get going. So today's challenge is going to be installing and making a drawer to go underneath the bed. So these I just picked up off Amazon, heavy duty sliders. I think they said they're rated like 400 pounds or something, but I don't plan to be getting that heavy with them. And the length is about 49.5 inches when they're closed. I've never actually put drawers on anything, so this is going to be very interesting. So I'm going to start off by taking the bed out, and I'm just going to start, designing and mocking up. I'm going to have to put another 2x4 on here on this side and then cut out probably with a jigsaw so I can get a bigger drawer in there. Yeah, here we go. Alright guys, so first thing I need to do is put some support on this side. So there's actually another rung right here. I'm not sure you can see that. Yeah, there you go. Right in between here. It runs right along the fender well. So I'm going to run another 2x4 through here. That way I could, put some supports from the drawer.
Alright guys, so here you'll see me taking kind of a calibration square, and I'm just making sure that my saw blade is nice and square with with the back piece, as well as from the ground, to make sure that I'm getting some nice square cuts. This isn't fully required, but it's just kind of a peace of mind for me to kind of just know that everything's going straight. So right here I'm cutting out the insert that's going to go along the fender well, and I'm carrying it over to my truck. And you'll see that I always cut things probably just a hair too long. It's always best to go long. So right there you can see it doesn't fit, so I actually just take it back to the saw and take about half of a blade length off, and it fit perfectly. So here I'm getting ready to attach it. This is my little Craig pocket hole screw jig that I'm using, attaching it onto the ends. I'll show you here in a second that when I actually had it all in the truck, I marked on the frame where it was going to go, and I'll show you that here in a second. So I went ahead and just did 3 just to be safe. 2 on one side on the ends and then 1 in the middle. So 3 pocket holes on each side. There's about 2-inch screws right there. So here you'll see where I marked when I laid it in the truck. I marked where it needed to go, so I went ahead and just lined it right up with that. And here I'm just using the Craig cabinet drawer as a kind of just like a square, because I like how I can just clamp it to a surface, and it's got a nice long link to it, so it's easy to see it if it varies. So flip the other side. I'm going to put the other side on as well. Of course, I'm going to be using some wood glue with this. So kind of just lining it up towards about parallel. I wanted to try the fit first, so I screwed 1 pocket hole on each side, and I'm going to take it back to the truck and make sure that it all fits good. Didn't think this one through. Now this thing is starting to get a little bit of weight. I'd say right about right here, it's probably good 60, 70 pounds as is right now. So it is going to be a little heavy, but so here's the fit. Looks good. It sits down pretty low. Cha-ching. Alright, so let's take her back out and unscrew, and then add some glue and get ready for some prep. So again, I just went ahead and used 2-inch screws here to make sure that it's going to hold good. And here I'm beginning a placement for these for the drawers. So they actually came with the drawer sliders, came with little tabs that I bent up. You can see me doing that right here to just to mount them to the 2x4s that I already have. I'm going to go through and add some supports here in a minute. So kind of just mocking it up, because like I said, I've never done this before, so this is definitely new for me. I think right here I'm deciding on how high I want to do it, and I think I went ahead and went with about 5 5.5 inches from basically from the bottom to keep everything square. So here I'm just cutting 5.5 inch long spacers. That way I could just use them to rest the drawer on top. That way it's parallel to the ground. Just made 3 of those. And right now I'm measuring out a piece so I can cut 2. Added another brace on the side. That way I could right there. That way I could screw in the drawer sliders to that as well. So here's just a side angle of the tabs on how they're working with the brace that I put in there just now. Here's me showing it actually working. So here I'm bending up the tabs for the other side, the other drawer sliders on the other side. Kind of just getting it ready. Drill some pocket holes. This will be my support. Add a little bit of glue. Just using that the slider as just kind of a straight edge to make sure that it's in line with the other 2 front supports. I just drilled some pocket holes. Nothing fancy. I just took the bit that was on it and kind of countersunk the holes just a tad from the top. That way I can get them all the way through. Just checking it with the square.
Where each one of these little tabs are that stick out to screw into something, it happens to line up right with this top piece. So I could just put a 2x4 right here, mount it on top and bottom, on both of these actually, so it'll work out just good. Yeah, coming along.
Alright guys, so I paused it right here because I wanted to show the boards that run with the along the rungs of the truck actually aren't parallel. So I had to kind of make a little side brace for this upright 2x4 in order to make the drawer sliders parallel. So all I did was chop a 2x4 in half and then mount it on the side, and then the upright 2x4 is actually just mounted and screwed into that to make the drawer sliders parallel.
And now, really thinking about how I'm going to do these drawers to get them even. What I think I'm going to do is take off that side, take off both sides really, and use like a gauge. And so, for example, I'm going to use this as my gauge, and I'm going to set it on the ground and then draw a pencil line across here. And I'm going to do that on each one of these little braces like so, on both sides. That way I get them exactly right. So let's go ahead and run through that.
So the reason why I decided to do it this way, because I thought it was just going to be a lot smoother, it was going to work a lot better for drawers. I wasn't feeling too confident, on how just using those 5.5-inch spacers that I had. So what I decided to do is just take my little combination, speed square, or whatever you want to call it, and I kind of just set the depth to about 5.5 inches, and then just drew a line and kind of just lined up the drawer sliders up to that line. So here you'll see me take it off what I had already put on there, just doing all the screws that I had on the sliders. Set it on the side to finish off. So here you see me setting it to about 5.5 inches. And then kind of just drawing a straight line across the vertical braces. I set the bottom of the sliders to the 5.5-inch mark, and that number kind of wasn't really calculated in a certain way. That's kind of just a number that I picked out of my head, because after looking at several pictures, I didn't really notice any kind of mathematics or where should the sliders work best, where's the middle, on top or on the bottom. So I just went ahead and just did about 5.5 inches up from the bottom. I think that I'm gonna have to put some sort of support, whether I run like a 1x4 on the inside of my drawer to kind of help hold the weight. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna, or what I'm gonna do with this space in there and as well as the back. I might just use it for like dirty clothes and stuff, because the mattress comes all the way to here, so if I really wanted to, I could shove some dirty clothes or whatever I wanted to back there. But so far everything was good, tight fit. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and test it out and head to Colorado, sleep in it for a weekend. So I'll put the plywood back on, the mattress on top, obviously with some sheets and pillows, probably just this half for now, and then I'm just going to leave this open until I make sure that I like the size or maybe the height. I mean, it would be a pain at this point to go back and make it shorter or taller, but I figured I'd better test it out before I go all out. So I'm going to wait on the drawer, do a little more research on how to make that all square and whatnot, and yeah, coming along good.